Well, with me on the Guest of the Day segment this morning on the radio and on our good old video stream, we have Rob Busch here today from the Edgewood-Colesburg Community School District. As we had Rob, we got to catch up a little bit. You had a school board meeting last Monday night.
Yeah, we have to have our April board meeting each year a little bit earlier because our budgets are due to the county courthouse on the 15th. So we bump it up a little bit to make sure we have our budget hearing done in time and get all the paperwork in a timely fashion.
Well, speaking of your budget, you held the public hearing on that. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yep, set the tax rate for $13.19 per thousand next year. So that was approved by the board. And again, it was kind of after the board meeting, kind of had a discussion with our board secretary. It seems kind of anticlimactic because we kind of go through a lot of things in the February, March board meeting, and then we get to the April board meeting and we do a kind of a presentation, and then probably confuses the public, but I think the board members kind of know the process. But we kind of talked like maybe we'll switch that around a little bit next year. But just a process you go through every year. And again, we got to the point and the board did approve that $13.19 per 1,000 rate, which is very similar to this year's rate.
Also held a public hearing on the school calendar. Time to approve what's going on next year.
Yeah, I know that's the scary part too. With all the stuff going on, this year has definitely flown by. We plan to start on Wednesday, August 25th. It is kind of a tentative because we don't know our football schedule yet. And so with homecoming week, we usually have a professional development day on the Monday of homecoming week. So we'll have to put some final touches on that a little bit later when we find out the schedule, but pretty much everything else is set for next year.
So let's talk about the big discussion that was held at your last school board meeting last week on a Monday night about the masks. And you pointed out right at the beginning that was just going to be a discussion, not really taking any action. So tell us a little bit about how that went and how things will look going into the rest of this school year and then starting next school year.
I think with a couple of schools in central Iowa deciding to do away with the mask mandate, it kind of got everybody, what's our plan of getting rid of the mask? And we wanted to open that up for discussion. We had both sides. Both sides do have concerns and also answers for why to continue and why to discontinue the usage of masks. Again, I think the board members just wanted to hear and let it be known that they are listening to all this advice. Right now, we're really working with public health and following the CDC guidelines, and then also taking advice from our attorneys right now. They just don't, with the governor's proclamation, if something were to happen that we, again, out of the hopefully extreme, that we would still be protected with legal protection by following the mask mandates and the mask guidelines from public health and CDC. So I think we're erring on the side of caution right now and want to keep everybody safe. We want to continue to be in school. That's really what the masks been all about all along, is keeping people safe and continuing in school. Our understanding right now is if you don't have mask on, you have to quarantine. And it'd be kind of like at the beginning of the year when they weren't allowing that. If two people had masks on, we had to quarantine if one of them was positive, and we had out probably close to 100 kids at one time. And so that just added chaos to the educational system. So by following the mask guidelines, we're allowing kids to stay in school and hopefully keep that nasty virus out of here.
And you'll probably talk further later down the road about the next school year with that?
Yep, I think we'll, again, work with public health, following everybody's advice, and see what next year holds.
And you had a whole list of things here on the agenda that you approved, including you've got your graduating seniors, your classified staff agreement, that sort of thing. Yep,
we've got 43 seniors. Hopefully they meet all the graduation requirements and they'll be walking across the stage here. That's always exciting. Just this last Sunday, we had National Honor Society, so 12 new members were inducted. Besides graduation, that's one of the highest honors that we can bestow students, and it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication to their studies and extracurriculars. And then outside of they're involved with church activities, 4-H activities, community activities. So those students, I got to give a shout out to them, that the commitment they make to education and improving our community. We also came to agreement with our classified staff, looking at a 2.93 raise increase for them next year, and got their letters of assignment and contracts out to them. So again, prepping for next year already.
And as far as spring activities, everything's still on track and going smoothly, and graduation and all that stuff all set and ready to go.
Yep, correct. Just this week with a little cold weather, these 2 days here, we knocked off or canceled a few golf meets and track meets. So a little disappointing for kids in that end. But again, if you've ever sat out at a track meet when it's cold, sometimes you're better off just take the evening off.
Anything else you want to add, sir?
Again, thank you for this opportunity, and thanks for the community support of the school district, and we appreciate it.
All right, Rob Busch, Superintendent at EDCO, with an update on what's happening there. And I thank you very much for joining us today. We've got more on our Guest of the Day segment coming up in just